Hi, my name is Sarah and I like to give my dolls new faces inspired by things that I like. Today I'll be giving a new face to Skulltimate Secrets Neon Frights Ghoulia. I bought this a while back ago, like sometime last year, where she was on sale, and I stacked it with like another deal which made her about $12, I believe, which is kind of a steal for a stupid locker and dolls and a bunch of, I think, pretty good clothing pieces. But the reason why she's still in here, technically, I opened it to look at her, but I never really went through the gimmick or anything because I just was overwhelmed by the fact that I knew she was a polydemon and I was going to have to reroot her before I got to work on her anyways. So today I'm finally going to do that, and I did have one comment on my last video saying that they were interested in seeing my reroot process, so I'll see if I can remember to record that this time around, and hopefully my phone doesn't like die or run out of storage in the middle. I tried to record it last time, but that's what happened. So here she is. I know G3 Ghoulia is very divisive for some people, but I think this doll really improved on so much when it comes to the criticisms that people had of her core doll. She's definitely really cute and really had the potential to be a great doll. I think she just needed one more doll. Like, I'm thinking of her in maybe the Fearbook line in like Video Game Club, because I know Twyla is in Game Club, but it's like tabletop games, so Ghoulia could be in like Video Game Club, or she could be in Skater Club. I think that would be cute too. We'll never know what the executives at Mattel are thinking. So I have worked on Ghoulia before. I worked on her core doll sometime last year, but I ended up selling her. I'm so grateful. She's one of the first dolls I've ever sold, and I just hope wherever she went, the owner still likes her. But I'm a bit sad because I sold that doll with all the clothes and accessories, so I don't have core Ghoulia's original pieces anymore. So part of me thinks like, oh, should I look for her core Ghoulia so I can at least have that. I tore the backdrop a little, but it's okay, it's just a backdrop. I won't be doing the gimmick because I don't want to bring water into my desk, so I will just be using this key as is. Look at how stiff her hair is. Ooh, polypropylene. I like the color. I love how bright and vivid this is, but I want her in saran. My favorite hair type is probably nylon, but that might be my bias because my first dolls were Rainbow High dolls, and I really enjoyed their hair and playing with their hair the most. But saran just works so much better on Monster High dolls because nylon is a bit too like bulky, and saran just sits a lot nicer and flatter. I've made it clear before. Also, feel free to like call me a clown for saying how much I hate these stupid lockers and yet getting them anyways, like, because I'm incredibly stubborn, but at the end of the day, when these giant things go on sale for like less than $15 sometimes, think about it. You get a doll, yes, it's probably polypropylene, but if you're someone who can look past that, you get a doll, you get all these outfit pieces, and when it was still this thing, it's storage for like less than $15. You have to admit that's a steal. But ever since they changed to the cage closet stage thing, I've been even more annoyed because it's like, I still hate it. Like, yes, I still hate it, but I hate it more than the bulky lockers because at least the lockers I can use as storage. The closet, the stage, it doesn't even work as storage. There's barely any place to store anything. And there's like the holes in the design because it's like a cage. I feel like it's such a waste. I don't know if kids like really like the locker aspect, but I feel like they could definitely just turn it into like cardboard packaging. Is it really necessary? I don't know. Also, shedding. I know all dolls shed, but I just like to bag on Polly when I can, so God forbid. I'm just kidding. I don't know what else there is to say about Ghoulia that hasn't already been said before. From both sides, as in people who adore her and people who despise her. So maybe I shouldn't really get that much into that. Maybe I'll just get into this reroot. Let me go get the saran for her. So I'm going to be rerooting her using saran from dollyhair.com. This is phthalo blue in the size Barbie long, and I have some leftover lagoon blue from my iridescent Clio that, I don't know, because I noticed she has these highlights, so I was like, maybe I can do those highlights. The only thing that I'm really sad about is I thought this color was a lot more vibrant. It's more of like a navy blue. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, but I do like how like bright and neon this was. It's like neon Frights, but I also, again, I didn't really want to do nylon. Saran on Monster High just feels right to me. That's my opinion. It's time to chop all this hair off. Honestly, I don't have a look in mind for her yet, so I will figure that out after the reroots. I'm reusing the bag of trash from Abby's hair because why would I waste a bag? Look how stiff that is. That's so funny. It just sticks out. So first I'm gonna tie off her hair so it doesn't fly everywhere. She has a lot of hair. When you are chopping all the hair off your doll, be really careful. I'm not so careful, and sometimes I end up like chewing into the plastic because I'm trying to get like really close to the scalp. So if you're doing your first pass, just be careful. And here we go. Oops. Trying my best not to cut a hole in the bag too. That'd be a bit of a nightmare. I do this in a bag just so it doesn't get everywhere. It will get everywhere anyway. Lint roller. We're on the floor of my bedroom. Here's Ghoulia. Bald. Or not bald yet, buzz cut. And we're going to pop off her head with boiling water. If you do a lot of doll customs and you also like doing doll hair, I highly suggest just getting an electric kettle because it'll make your life so much easier. Some people put the head in a plastic bag first, but I just stick the head straight in here. It's a little scary at first, but you get used to it. And now try to remove the head without breaking the neck peg. I hope you'll be able to see this. Paying attention. Try to pull it over the lip first, because there's 2 layers to the neck peg. So first try to pull it over the base, and then you can pull it over like the 2 prongs. There we go. I hate these things. Here she is. And now it's time to rip all the hair plugs out, and I'm going to be using this cuticle tool to scrape out the inside. There's like a few more hairs in here, but they shouldn't really be a problem. Now it's time to shrink these holes, and I'm just going to take the same hot water from before. Like, it doesn't have to be boiling as long as it's like a little warm. It would be easier if I did this in a smaller container. I'm lazy, so I'm just going to drop it in here. Also, if you see stuff floating in the water, I'm aware, but I promise you it's just because I have really hard water, so that's just like the calcium or whatever. And this kettle is not for drinking, it is for projects only. I don't know, unless you want to come over and have some microplastic tea, then microplastic and hard water tea. A metal straw that I also use only for doll projects. The water's not that hot, so she didn't shrink that much, but it did shrink a considerable amount. I'm not satisfied, so I'm going to heat up this water again anyways. I chopped off this peg, by the way, because the only thing holding the doll's head in place is this thing. And this, I mean, I guess it gives the head a little bit more support, but I just leave it off because it's easier to put the head back on. And like in my Abby reroot, if it's too thin looking, then I can easily just pop it back off without having to heat up the whole head again. This water is extra hot, so these holes are going to shrink by probably a lot, and I hope I don't hurt myself. Look at how much those holes have shrunk. So, she looks like an egg. I'm just gonna leave her to dry, probably whack her on the towel for a bit just to get some of the water out, but I'll come back when I have cleaned up. We're back at my desk, and here she is. So I would just make sure the inside of the head is dry before you start rerooting, mostly because I'm personally afraid of mold. I don't know if it would mold if it's like a little damp in there, but I would rather be safe than sorry. So, and for extra safe measure, you can get a Q-tip and like swab the inside to see if it's like still damp in there or not. But I did all that and she is probably ready to go. So now for the really fun part. This is my rerooting tool. It is this brand of X-Acto knife with the blade removed, and I stuck the needle, I cut an angle in there. This is a size 8 embroidery needle, and you specifically want an embroidery needle because their eye is extra long and it just gives you more spot to cut. This is the same needle I use for Abby and it's still going strong, so it's pretty good. And I saw someone on Twitter say that like this was a really good X-Acto knife to use because the X holds the needle a lot better than like the X-Acto knives with just one little line or whatever. And now it's time to do the very fun part of separating the hair. Rerooting with saran is really easy because it has like this waxy coating. This hair is already pre-cut, so I don't need to do any cutting. I just hold it between my thumb here, remove this tie. Now, notice how, because it's waxy, it kind of separates on itself. I find that really helpful. So I just grab a few hairs. I can't exactly tell you how many hairs you pull, but just think about the fact that it's going to double up because you're going to fold it in half to stick it in the head. This is a little thin. I know that because I just worked on Abby, so I'm going to do maybe this much, this thick, maybe a bit less. And again, you can always go back and add hair, but you can't remove hair. So on the safe side, I would reroot thinly anyway. I think this is good. So you remove about this much to separate it, like so. And then lay it down on my workplace. I learned how to reroot from a few people. So there's obviously artists I grew up watching like Delightful, but a few of my friends and mutuals on Twitter were very kind to give me reroot tips as well when I was first starting out. I say that like I'm a seasoned rerooter. I only ever like, this is a very rare moment for me to be doing 2 reroots back to back like this. And there's also someone on YouTube who does reroots very often, and they do very informative videos. I believe their name is Draculijah. You can check out their videos as well. I used to leave the hank as is, flat on the table, and slowly peel off hair by hair, but I just found out. But from watching Draculijah doing this, I found that this way is a lot more useful, or like a lot neater, and your hairs don't really get that messed up and tangled. These plugs are honestly looking a little thick, but I will adjust as needed. It's honestly been a minute since I've done a nylon reroot. My only time working on nylon was with my Abby, but I do have another nylon reroot I have in mind, and that's because I just could not, I didn't like any other colors in saran for it. So if you want to see me do a nylon reroot, that's possible, but probably not gonna happen for a long time after this one, because I don't know how I'll feel about rerooting after I do this Ghoulia. Also, I just remembered that she has the part all the way down the back of her head as well, so honestly maybe I should take care to not make these plugs a little too thick so I have enough hair for that part line. Honestly, I could have cut this hair in half as well. I didn't need it this long, but I do love when dolls have super long hair because I love to brush it. It's very relaxing. So now that I'm done separating some plugs, I'll find somewhere to hang this so that it doesn't get tangled, and I'm just going to hang it over my camera stand right now. Okay, now it's time to reroot. I like to do these 2 lines near the front here. So this is the part line right in the middle, and usually Monster High Heads will have these 2 lines next to the part. I like to start there because I know how heavy-handed I can get in the beginning, but looking at my plugs, I started super thick in the back here, and in the front here is a little thinner, so I'm going to probably start by her ear and then work my way up into these lines. But basically, I like to do lines next to the part, perimeter, and then these horizontal lines, and then lastly do the part. So I'll get some washi tape. I put it over my finger like this, and then this is so that the needle doesn't stab me or anything. Hold in half over my nail, and scoop it into this tool. Hold it. Okay, and then you want to make sure you hold it perpendicular to the head, because if it's angled, you are at risk of breaking your needle or denting it, and we don't want that. So sometimes I give it a little wiggle. 1 done. A lot more to go. Again, just ta-da. If you feel that the holes are too small and you're afraid of breaking your needle, what you can do is get a separate needle or a push pin and prep the different holes by kind of just stabbing them to widen them up again so your tool can slide in easier. But I kind of just brute force my way through it and hope I don't break the needle. Yeah, this looks like a pretty good amount of hair. If you're worried about how much hair is in your plug, you can just look at it and then look at a factory rooted doll and see if like the amount is kind of similar. You just eyeball it and you get used to it. I'm doing this in silence for now so I can record, but usually I'll have a podcast or just a show that doesn't require too much attention on my computer screen or my iPad so I can not die of boredom. Recently I've been watching Make Some Noise, which is kind of like Whose Line Is It Anyway? I think it's pretty funny. I don't get some of the references because, to be completely honest, I'm not super well versed in pop culture outside of K-pop, which is just my own personal preference, but it's a pretty silly show, pretty funny. Sometimes I have a hard time figuring out what to watch or have on in the background while I do this, so if you have any suggestions yourself about like maybe a show or a podcast or a YouTube channel that does long form videos with actual substance to them, I'd love to hear what you're into. I also like to listen and catch up on new K-pop releases. Recently I've really enjoyed NMIXX and The Boys. Should I ramble while I do this about like completely off-topic things? I don't know. Does anyone care? Here's how much I've gotten out of the plugs that I pulled. That's a pretty good amount, honestly. Now I just do that so many more times. This video is gonna be kind of long. Second update, I just did another round of plugs, and here's how far I got with that. This side's I felt like this side was a little too thick, so I tried to lower it a bit or lessen it a bit on this side. So this side might be a bit thinner than this one, but if her hair is going to be in pigtails and I find a way to style it, hopefully it won't be too noticeable. And then of course any strands that I separated that I felt were way too thin to go on the outside, I kind of just already started plugging them in the back here. With these pieces on, you kind of can already see how she's turning out. I was a bit sad about the color at first because I wanted it to be like that super bright neon, but obviously it's a little hard to get with Saran. But honestly, this color is quite nice on her. We will see. I will check in when more progress has been made. Progress check. I don't know how long it's been because I took a break to get some food and do some other things, but I filled out this thing and this bottom part of her head is done. And honestly, I didn't realize it, but she has so many plugs and I don't know if I'm gonna have enough hair for it. I think I'll just have to do this inner part of her head really, really thin. Kind of like, I think I'll just have to do like even thinner than this. Because like I thought I was already going pretty thin, like around here, but I might have to go thinner, I don't know. Because I'll need a lot of hair for the part, I think. I could always do the part now, but I don't really want to do that because it's just going to mess up during the rest of the rooting, so I'll just go really thin and hope it goes well. My last update was at 11:56 and now it is 1:13 a.m. I made some progress. It just doesn't look like a lot because Jesus, she does have so many plugs. I didn't even realize it. But I'm gonna call it a night. My hands are starting to feel a little tingly, so I think that's a sign I should take a break. So I will check back in when I make progress tomorrow. Okay, it's the next day. I kind of spent the day taking a break, but I am back. It's been an hour and 30 minutes almost, and I've gone a bit further up her head. I know it looks super thin, but that's just because I was really worried I won't have enough hair. But I will just keep doing it rather thin, and then by the time I finish the part, if I have extra hair and I can like, you know, kind of just hold her hair like this and see how it looks. If I feel it looks spotty, then I'll go in with extra hair. Probably where the part would look, so like right here. Basically the plugs closest to the part will probably get more hair if I have any hair left over, but otherwise I just gotta keep chugging along. I did it. Finally, all I need now is the hair part, and she's super thin, but I'm really hoping whatever amount of hair I have left for the part will be enough. then I said I was gonna use this Lagoon Blue, but I don't really know anymore. It leans, I don't think it's bad, but like it's a little green, which is funny because so is she. I feel like I'm in my own head. Like, does this blend look weird? Like, is this too cool toned and is this too warm toned? I don't know what else to do with this hair, so you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. And if I hate it, then oh well. And now I'm going to do one side here. Ease my needle into it. Okay. And then I'm going to take the other half secured. Gently, very carefully insert on the other side. And because you folded the plug in half, you already kind of see this separation. You do the really fun part of thatching them by bringing one side over, this side over, this side over, and this side over, and oh god. And then as you can see, that's how the thatching begins. And you just want to repeat that all the way down. Here's where I'm at. It is 12:56 a.m. and I really just wanted to push through and finish, but I broke my needle and these pliers are really dull for me using it on metal, and I cannot make another good needle for the life of me, so I'm going to wait until tomorrow to make a needle with some better tools and finish this freaking part. But look, it doesn't look super patchy. Probably the fact that the scalp is painted helps, but I'm too lazy to do that myself. I finished this at about 1 p.m. today, but I didn't have time to record an update until now. But she has her glue in, and here is her part. Looks pretty good. There's some spots that are a bit empty, but I think it should be fine. Her hair is going to be in pigtails anyway, so shouldn't matter too much. Oh god, it's been a while. It's actually been about 2 weeks. Don't mind her hair. I was a little stressed out with some circumstances I was going through in real life that I just spent a lot of time messing around with her hair, doing braids, etc. And I'm only showing you this now because her hair is not going to look like this. I had a specific hairstyle in mind for her when I was doing these braids, but I don't think it's possible with the amount of hair that she has. And also, I don't think I'm capable of doing it. Anyway, bye Ghoulia. I'll go wash this off and put down my starting layers of MSC. We finally made it to the face-up. Truthfully, by this point, I still wasn't 100% sure of the vibe that I wanted to give her. I knew for sure that I wanted to give her a bit of an edgier look than a soft one, but I just couldn't make it work. I think the prolonged break that I took while working on her kind of threw me out of my flow. For full transparency, I won't be happy with the final result. I've talked about how smiley G3's lip molds are often, and Ghoulia is not exempt from this. In fact, I feel like she's the most smiley out of all the ghouls. It kind of made it hard for me to do a more neutral expression on her, so I considered leaning more mean. Did it come through? I honestly can't tell. On top of my own creative rut, I'm nearing the end of my current can of MSC, so the applications haven't been as matte as I'd like them to be. The colors had quite a hard time gripping onto the vinyl, and maybe I've just been staring at her for so long, but everything just feels patchy. The cons of not doing acrylic repaints, I guess. I will say I really like how her lips turned out. I first started with a bright red and toned it down using dark brown and black in her lip crease. This lip on her is everything, and I'm a bit sad I couldn't give it an eye look that did it justice. The eye look, oh my god. So I was still unsure about whether I wanted to fully lean into the neon Frights color palette or give her something that was more of my own. Because I only had her neon Frights clothing pieces to work on for her restyle, I just decided to go with the former decision, which I will admit that I regret. I tried to integrate the neon green, blue, and pink into the look, but it just looked too out of place on her eyes. I then tried to blend everything together using black, but then it just felt like her bold eye look and her bold lips were now fighting for attention on her face. I can't help but think I made her look too gaudy. I skipped recording the second layer because I knew this video was already pretty long and it's mostly just me blending out the colors on that layer anyway. Feel free to let me know if you prefer to watch that part and I'll adjust accordingly for future videos. On her last layer, I finally drew some lashes on her. Sometimes the lashes will pull the look together, but her top lashes disappeared into the black pastel I used to blend her eyeshadow. Don't get me wrong, it's kind of a look, but it just wasn't the look that I was going for. To be fair though, I don't even know if I can say I even had a look I was going for to begin with. I had already spent so long on this doll that I wasn't even sure if I wanted to finish her, but I knew that something in me wouldn't be content without some sort of closure, so I forced myself to complete her anyway. With her catchlights, I prayed that she could come to life. Here's the final look for my version of Neon Frights Ghoulia. Once again, I'll be honest and say that I didn't even want to do a proper photo shoot for her, so I just took a few photos of her on my desk so I could move on with my life. Maybe one day I'll return to her when I'm fully motivated and not in this weird creative place, but we will see. And you know, if you really like this Ghoulia, then just know that I am incredibly appreciative, but I just feel like I personally can do a lot better. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed the video, even if this ending was kind of anticlimactic. Feel free to leave any questions, comments, or critiques for me, and I hope to see you in the next one.